dedicated our whole lives to studying the paranormal. Now there's sightings all over the city. There are people out there that need our help.
When the Ghostbusters remake was first announced, it's fair to say the reaction was mixed. Some were excited about the idea of recasting the whole film with 4 funny women. Then the creators were hit with a misogynistic backlash. Well, the film is finally here, and here with his review is our movie guy, Eli Glasner. First of all, I'm kind of struggling to figure out what to call this. Is it a remake? Is it a sequel? What is it?
It's a requel.
Okay.
It's a she-make.
It's a new movie term.
I mean, it's a remake-ish in that it's never entirely clear, and in a way, the movie tries to actually have it both ways. So yes, it takes place 30 years after the events of the original, and so yes, New York City, once again the site of paranormal pandemonium, and yet the citizens of the fair city seem surprised when this is happening, and yet the mayor also kind of winks and says, yeah, we've kind of been there, done that before, and there is that sense of deja vu, as you can see looking at the visuals throughout the film. The story starts in a similar place with some brilliant weirdos who are pushed to the fringe of society. There is Kristen Wiig getting slimed as Erin, a stuffy academic trying to hide her ghost-believing past, dragged into action by Abby, Melissa McCarthy as this gung-ho scientist, working with Holtzman, a gonzo engineer played by SNL's Kate McKinnon. And of course, you see her there. It's not a trio, it's supposed to be a foursome. So how is Leslie Jones going to get involved? Well, take a look. Here's Patty.
Join the club. You guys are really smart about this science stuff, but I know New York. And I can borrow a car from my uncle.
You didn't disclose that the vehicle was going to be a hearse.
It's a Cadillac!
So I love Leslie Jones. I think she's fantastic. If you don't know her work, Google Game of Jones, where she does Game of Thrones recaps. So I have to say, the fact that the rest of the women get to be geniuses and groundbreaking scientists, and she's there because she's streetwise, it feels a little condescending. It does feel to me like a bit of a missed opportunity.
That's one difference from the original, but there are, like you said, shades of the original movie. But how would you compare it? Or is it fair to make that comparison to the original?
You can't help but compare it, Marivel,
Okay.
because they are continually reminding us of this movie's roots. I mean, what's not in this film? There it is, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. We have Slimer. We have Hearst. We have the jumpsuits, proton packs, streams crossing, all of that and more. Check, check, and check. And I haven't even mentioned the parade of lifeless cameos from the remaining cast members. And so when this movie isn't doing a female-friendly karaoke version of the original, you do get a sense of what Paul Feig, the director, is trying to do with his team, with his co-writer, Katie Dippold. And you see them together. There are moments where Ghostbusters, the new Busters, kind of play with our expectations, subverting those moments you'd expect from an action comedy. It is more about the camaraderie, less about the male machismo. But I did feel, as a team, especially McCarthy and Wiig, they really didn't gel. I mean, the fulcrum of this movie is supposed to be that friendship. They used to work together, then they kind of fell apart. Now they're together again, but it didn't really click for me. And I think big picture, the problem with this movie is that it's haunted by the original. Every time the new Ghostbusters get in a groove and start to really make it their own, they have to go back to one of those reenactments. They have to remind us of what this is built on, and so it never really feels like its own thing. But I will point out, the saving grace for me is Kate McKinnon. Now, you may know her from Saturday Night Live. She does some amazing impersonations of Bieber, of Hillary Clinton. In this movie, she is the gonzo engineer of Holtzman, and she is tuned to a frequency all her own. She is the comedic rhythms of a David Byrne, the way she moves and sells her excitement and her glee at this range of weaponry that she creates. Take a look at Holtzman in action.
Got some pretty cool stuff cooking up over here if you want to just turn your head. I improved beam accuracy by adding a plasma shield to the RF discharge chamber. I have cryo cooler to reduce helium boil off. And to dub it all up, we got a freaking Faraday cage.
I have no idea what that means, but her energy is amazing. I'm so excited now. I'm revved up, and she revels in it. She owns that moment, the body language, the way she sells it. There's this kind of riot girl vibe happening. So even though this movie implies there could be a sequel, there's a little hint there at the end of the credits. I could care less about that, but I can't wait to see what she does next. 3 stars out of 5 for Ghostbusters.
Okay, 3 out of 5, and I was curious to get your take on this because there's been this gender bias discussion that's been touched off by this film. Give us a bit of background on that and why this has stirred all that
Some
up.
people pointed out the fact that majority of positive reviews, about 84% female, about 77% of the negatives, male. Yes, I am a man. So it has made me think, is there something about the comedy of this film, a more kind of female dynamic, maybe more laid back, that it's not resonating with some audiences better than others? But at the end of the day, I have to say, I don't think it's male or female. I think it's just not as funny. And given all that talent involved, you would have expected more.
All right. Well, audiences get to weigh into this weekend. That's wide release. Let's talk about a movie that's happening at the Varsity that Torontonians can take part in, can see.
Connor Jessup, Torontonian, amazing young rising star. I'm amazed he's in a tiny little gem like this. The movie is called Closet Monster. It stars Jessup as Oscar, a conflicted young gay teen who's struggling with that identity. Very emotional, vivid, at times fantastical film. You want to see something different than the Busters? Check out Closet Monster.
Okay, that's great. Thank you as always, Eli.
My pleasure.